Governor J.B. Pritzker vetoing a bill that's passed overwhelmingly at the State House while announcing a policy essentially reflecting what that bill did. It's the WMAY morning news feed. What am I talking about? Well, teachers or other school staff that have COVID-19 related absences, they can no longer have to count those against sick time, but now they can count them against administrative time, seeming to be open-ended, but only for those who are vaccinated. It's the WMAY morning news feed. I want to get your reaction to this. 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. What are your thoughts with giving this benefit to only those who are vaccinated? Fully vaccinated. And who knows when fully vaccinated is going to change. Dr. Anthony Fauci saying that, they've got the boosters out there right now, but what about a fourth booster? He says that they need more data, so they're going to be looking into that possibility. But the CDC has yet to change fully vaccinated to include a booster shot, even though there's research that's indicating that the boosters might help a little bit, but Omicron, the latest variant of concern that seems to have really spread all over the place and burned through the population. Vaccines not necessarily leading to people not getting the Omicron variant, and even those who aren't vaccinated, apparently with the Omicron variant, it's still very mild. So interesting to see all of these different issues pop up. But when it comes to teachers and paid leave for COVID-related absences, there was a bill that passed in the fall. That bill, House Bill 2778, passed both legislative chambers with more than a veto-proof majority. And that was in the fall session. And the measure would have given educators the ability to take administrative time off for COVID-19 related issues rather than counting that against sick time. Now, unions representing educators and school staff, they supported the measure, saying that it was needed to guarantee educators and staff get paid when they're out of school or when schools go remote because of COVID-19. Or, for instance, if their kids are having to stay out of school. Education administrators, they worried about the bill, not just about the increased cost it will bring about, but also how it could exacerbate already existing staffing issues, let alone possibly leading to school closures. So the bill was sent to the governor. He had 30 days to act. And he vetoed the bill yesterday, as was anticipated. Now, he says that he's announced a new policy, and the policy includes a variety of different things. Among the initiatives that the Pritzker administration announced, paid administrative leave for every employee of a school, public university, public community college who's fully vaccinated or whose child's required to be excluded from school because of a positive COVID-19 case or a close contact. Now, that also restores sick leave for every employee of a public school district, public university, and public community college who's fully vaccinated. And the agreement maintains wage protections for all hourly employees, including but not limited to custodial, transportation, food service providers, classroom assistants, or administrative staff. And the governor's office said it's applying for the entire 2021-2022 school year, including any days that a school is already closed or switched to the remote learning. It is the WMAY morning news feed. I'm Greg Bishop. Let's get your calls, 217-629-7970. What do you think about this when it comes to this benefit being available only for the vaccinated? Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg. How you doing, man?
Good. Yourself?
Good. I enjoy your show. You bring a lot of clarity to all the issues. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So it's funny because I listen to this every day about the teacher. My wife's a teacher. I called her yesterday. She's a teacher, and she gets full benefits. My dad was a state worker. He retired. He's going to make more money retired than he did working.
3% compounded annual increase, baby.
Yeah. And you know what? I work for the private sector, and I don't get all that. And, I listen to people, gripe and complain about health insurance. If they live in the real world, they would have to pay for their own.
or their employer would pay for part of it, but not nearly to the level that public sector employees and the benefits they get in Illinois,
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, and you listen to all these people gripe and complain about their lack of benefits. I mean, they got a cushy benefit, and yeah, it just makes me mad because I'm a taxpayer, right? And I am supplementing everybody's pension, insurance, and it just I don't know. It
Well,
just
and
kind of makes
now apparently COVID leave time. And COVID
yeah,
leave time in particular, only for the vaccinated, though. And I think some may have questions about, and I don't know if you do, those who are not vaccinated are going to have a tough time with COVID. But apparently, sorry. If you're not vaccinated, you're not going to be able to have the COVID leave as part of administrative leave. It's going to have to go against your sick time laid out.
yeah. But you know what? I mean, I don't know. I just have a I like I said I work in the private sector and I listen to all these people gripe and complain about their jobs every day. They got a great job. They got great benefits and they need to stop complaining.
Appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. To the issue, though, of what the governor announced, he vetoed House Bill 2778. Hard to keep all these House bills and Senate bills together, but House Bill 2778, he vetoed it, but he announced pretty much the same thing in an agreement with the teachers' unions, but only for those who are vaccinated. So vaccinated teachers and school staff are going to be able to have open-ended administrative leave, not just if they get COVID, but if their kid's possibly around a COVID case and has to stay home. Then they can have paid administrative leave, kind of open-ended. I did reach out to some of the management groups, the school management groups, and in particular, the Illinois Principals Association did send me this statement. They said, "We appreciate the governor's action on HB 2778," because they opposed it, "and look forward to reviewing language on the new agreement. Acknowledging the difference in exclusion requirements for vaccinated and unvaccinated educators and staff is an important step," they said, "to maintaining in-person learning. We continue to be concerned about the shortage of substitute teachers and staff, accommodate administrative and sick leave, and look forward to working with the General Assembly and the governor to address the long-term and short-term issues on this ongoing crisis." Your thoughts on this? Paid sick leave as administrative leave, but only for those who are fully vaccinated. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Great show. Love the show. My wife is a teacher, and she's not vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated. We don't care if people are vaccinated. It's their choice. Most people we know are vaccinated. The government, this is just another deal of the government separating the American people, shaming people for not doing what they think is right, what the government thinks is right. It should be everybody's choice, not the government's choice.
So you feel this is somewhat of a discriminatory policy that the governor announced yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, they're letting people that are vaccinated get more rights than the people that are not getting vaccinated. My wife gets sick, she's going to have to use her PTO time.
Yep.
Just because she's not vaccinated, and they're basically pointing out the people that are not vaccinated and shaming them.
Yeah, and the rhetoric's gotten to a level that some see is just very distasteful, and lumping people together with unsavory characters just because they question vaccine mandates. It's gotten to a point where the rhetoric and the rhetorical divide some are trying to put onto this conversation. It's very frustrating. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. Appreciate the calls. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Your thoughts about this idea of administrative leave, but only for vaccinated teachers and school staff, not for the unvaccinated. They're still going to have to take their sick time against their sick time, not make it administrative leave. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg. Hey, for once, the General Assembly actually did something right and, let everyone have an equal opportunity.
Well, I think the actual bill did include only for those who were vaccinated. I'm going to have to double check on that, but I think that was part of the argument.
Okay, so if that was the bill, then the bigger question would be, why did the governor veto it and then implement the same thing?
Here's what he had to say. He said, "This joint initiative renders the contents of HB 2778 moot And today I vetoed 2778.
So he just wanted to basically hear himself talk.
He unilaterally went and talked with the teachers' unions and said, here, this is the deal. And he went ahead and made that proclamation, making those initiatives known.
I think what would be even better would be if the General Assembly went and just overturned it. So
they
that
could.
would just
And they
exactly.
could.
And,
it passed with overwhelming veto-proof majorities out of both chambers.
Or he could do a mandatory veto, and the General Assembly could do that too.
Too late. And he already vetoed it, and he announced this policy, and the policy's in place.
That's what I mean. It's basically Governor Pritzker just trying to throw his weight around and being, Supreme Chancellor or whatever, and just trying to be, a supreme ruler of this state to make sure that no one has a choice, and to try to make sure that everyone plays by his game instead of having free will.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, I appreciate the call. Got more coming in. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Greg, all these teachers I hear from on your show that are saying, they think it's discriminatory and stuff like that. All they have to do is follow the rules, and they get the same thing. I mean, get vaccinated, and the state is telling you that if you try and help us follow the science and try and knock this down, we're going to help you if you get sick. That's all they're trying to say. They're not trying to discriminate or anything else. They're just trying to say, look, help us out.
It's an incentive. It's an incentive, absolutely. But it's not an incentive to work. It's an incentive to take a medical procedure.
Right. That's all it is.
So should people who should overweight teachers who eat garbage all day long and drink sugary drinks all day long, should they be discriminated against because they don't take care of themselves?
They're not discriminating. If the state came to them and said, look, if you participate in this diet plan or this exercise plan and lose the weight, if you miss time because you're sick from your weight, we're going to help you pay for it. Then that's what they need to do. That's all it is. They're not saying you can't work and be overweight. You just have to pay for it on your own.
Well, we'll see if that ever happens. But no, listen, I get that side of the argument that this is an incentive. It's an incentive to encourage vaccination.
The other thing,
all the other incentives didn't necessarily get people off the fence. The free donuts, the free pizza, the free coffee, the $1 million lottery tickets, the $100,000 lottery tickets. I mean, that wasn't enough to get people off the fence.
You could flip it this way. The governor could come out and tell all the teacher unions, look, we're just not going to do this at all. You guys all have to pay for it yourself because we tried to be nice. But those who don't want to participate and get vaccinated are the ones that's costing you folks your time off if you get sick.
Well, then you're going to pit people against each other, and it could get just messy. I appreciate the call. Get a few more in. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hi. Yeah. I think the way that we're looking at this is kind of skewed. I think that we need to look at this more as like income insurance. Like your insurability for your income is less because you're not following healthcare precautions. Just like if I try to get healthcare, I'm going to have to pay a higher premium if I have risk factors of like diabetes, tobacco user, heart disease. Well, if I'm getting income insurance, I'm going to have to get a crappier insurance because I have higher risk factors. My risk factor being not vaccinated. I mean, it's well documented, scientifically backed. I'm not arguing the vaccine. I'm arguing that's how every insurance works.
But this is a benefit, right? I mean, sick time is a benefit of employment. It's something that a lot of people believe is something that needs to be like mandatory. Everybody should be given sick time. But ultimately, they're essentially changing the classification of COVID sick. And now for those who are vaccinated, sick time is going to be accounted against the administrative leave, not against their sick time. And actually, previous sick time is going to be reimbursed to their allotted sick time.
I mean, health insurance, you could argue the same thing. Any insurance is considered a benefit.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the call. We got more coming in, and I think that some of the arguments are that this is a benefit. This is a a sort of type of incentive of sorts. Your thoughts? Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, morning, Greg. Yeah, you're hitting it right on the head. Sick time, PTO, all of this has always been a benefit. There are lots of jobs that don't offer it, and if you don't work, you don't get paid, and there's lots of careers out there that people make a wonderful living and support their families on that don't have any sort of PTO.
Yeah.
That being said, why does it matter if you have PTO, if you have sick time? Why does it matter what the sickness is? There's not a difference if I can't come to work and I have to use PTO because I get chicken pox or because I have COVID or because I'm undergoing chemotherapy. Like, it doesn't matter what the ailment is.
Well, and some people who test positive for COVID-19, even those who are vaccinated who test positive for COVID-19, which happens a lot, they get a sniffle. That's about it.
Right. So again, my point being, like, sick time's a benefit. If you have sick time and you get COVID, use your sick time.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't see why there needs to be a special designation.
Yeah. Well, that's what this does.
And
that's what this does. This carves out COVID as that special designation. Guys, I got full phone lines. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Bishop.
Hey.
So basically what he's saying is, I can't believe people can't, and I'm not a very smart guy, but people can't see this. So what he's saying is, okay, if you get this vaccine that doesn't allow you to get COVID-19, you can take off for having COVID-19 because that's what this vaccine is all about.
Well, the vaccine is, they may have sold it at first. If get the vaccine, then we're back to normal. And then they're like, oh, wait, people who get the vaccine can still get COVID and spread COVID. So, yeah, it's the vaccine, though, does seem to lower the symptoms that people get if they were to contract COVID. So those are some of the scientific ins and outs. But some are wondering why give the administrative leave only to vaccinated teachers when the unvaccinated individuals are likely to be the ones that are most hurt by COVID-19 if they get it. And they would need some more sick time. So it's got people a little, scratching their heads. And isn't this policy also something that was implemented for the city of Springfield as well? 217-629-7970. Okay, this is the last call, and I got to take a break. Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. This is clearly coercion to me, and it may not be a threat of force, but it's a threat of your benefits. Why are they so anxious for people to take this vaccine?
Well, you've got
especially when the evidence is it doesn't work.
You've got Dr. Anthony Fauci talking about a fourth booster and how they need more data and more research to be able to talk about that some more. So we'll see what ultimately happens with all of this. But the governor announcing that initiative yesterday after he vetoed a bill that essentially did the same thing, saying that the bill's moot because of the agreement he came to with the state's largest teachers unions. Appreciate everybody chiming in on this here on the WMAY Morning.